Welcome to PMC Sports. I am Dennis. Um, Getting this week started. Kind of coming to you guys after being off for a little bit. But some things have happened since I haven't made a video. The Lakers got a win. The NBA has some teams that I think are flukes and some teams that I think are real. I'm gonna talk about that. And I got 5 picks of the week. Also, I wanted to discuss how can the Lakers improve without giving up 2 first-round picks, because I think that is going to be very important moving forward. But let me start with the Lakers getting their first win. The Lakers played the Nuggets again, and they had a good showing. They had a real good showing. They made a move with their team, and it was a move of moving Westbrook to the bench. And they did that on 10/28 when they played the Minnesota Timberwolves. They moved him to the bench. He came off the bench. He had a pretty decent game. The Lakers lost that game 111 to 102, but Anthony Davis didn't play that game. But he came back, second game off the bench against the Nuggets. What was that, on Sunday? Great game. 18 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, 50% from the field, 50% from three. He made all his free throws. It was a really nice game for Westbrook, and the Lakers won 121-110, and he's really the reason they won. He was a plus 15 or so, something like that, plus 15, plus 18, I think. And he was really able to play his game. And I said I think him being able to play his game will be real beneficial to him. And he got that opportunity coming off the bench, not having to play off ball and be a spot up shooter playing with LeBron. He's not a spot up shooter. And I kept saying that in older videos, is Westbrook is not a spot up shooter. If you brought him in to be a spot up shooter to LeBron James, that was a waste of time. You're either going to let him do what he do and somebody and LeBron play off the ball, or you wasted your time trying to make him fit into that role. He's not going to fit into that role. But him coming off the bench, it doesn't seem like it's a demotion. It is more to bring his game out. If you want Russ to be Russ, this is how Russ is going to have to be Russ, coming off the bench and making plays off the bench. Not that he can't be a starter, but in this system with this team, I don't think him being a starter works right now. And what it also did, watching Russ play that well, it allowed us to finally give Russ some confidence, like some appreciation. And he haven't really received that from the fans or from the media or from anybody. He hasn't gotten that yet. Nobody's given him that recognition about who he is as a player in a long time. He's still a really good player. He still can play. You don't average 18, 8 and 8 as a player and you can't play. And he did that last year. He did that last year. So he can still play. And it was really good to see him play like that. Like I said, I've been a supporter of Russ since he was in OKC. So I want him to play good. Especially with him being on the Lakers, I need him to play good. As a Laker fan, need him to play good. Another thing that I was thinking about after that whole ordeal, that game he played, was, should the Lakers move him at this point? And I've always been against the Lakers giving up 2 first-round picks to try to force this team to work. I think this team is not a championship contender with or without Westbrook, with or without a trade that moves Westbrook for any of the offers that's out there on the board. I'm not one of those people that think, oh, we're Buddy Hield and Miles Turner away. I don't think that. That's not what I believe. I don't believe we're a Buddy Hield or Miles Turner away. I believe that we have to be able to put together a solid team of shooting, defense, wings, big men, another playmaker. Like, those are the things you need to put together a real championship contender. And it's going to be hard to do that during this season. And also, it would have been hard to do that in the off season because you didn't have any cap space. And a trade that you was going to move Westbrook for wouldn't have provided you with enough cap space, even in the offseason, to probably do anything. So I was never really a big, huge fan of, hey, let's just trade the 2 first round picks. I think those are more valuable than role players. So I'm not in the ballpark of, hey, let's trade the 2 first round picks for some role players. No. And now if Westbrook is going to play like this off the bench, I'm totally doubling and triple down in on that too. No, we can't trade all our picks away for some false hope of these guys are going to change our future, because if they don't, everybody's going to start getting mad again, and it's going to start being panic mode again. Like, oh, we wasted LeBron a year again. We can't waste LeBron next year. Anthony Davis, also, the way he's moving around with his back problems, that is what determines if the Lakers are going to be successful. How healthy Anthony Davis can be. That's what's going to determine it. If he's not going to be healthy and he's not going to be upright, then it doesn't matter. It does not matter. It doesn't matter who they trade for. We're not going nowhere. So I don't trust that Anthony Davis, how he's moving now. We should invest 2 first round picks and give up future assets and cap space, seeing how hurt he is. I'm not a proponent of us doing that. I don't think that makes sense, to be honest. So how would we improve the team if we don't move Westbrook? There's ways. I'm still not high on Patrick Beverley from the aspect of how he's playing. I think that there's a value that he probably brings to the locker room, intangible wise, right? But from on court perspective, with his salary, it ain't matching up. It ain't lining up. Like, if you had $13 million and you had to give it to a player right now that can help you, $13 million is a good start to find a player that can help you. And he got a $13 million contract. So if you wanted to move him for another wing that can shoot and defend, you possibly could do that for $13 million. You could do that. And I think the Lakers should look into that. That's a way to improve the team, where you probably give up a couple seconds to get that guy that you're looking for. Kelly Oubre, Josh Richardson, Gary Harris, don't count him out. You could possibly find one of those guys, get a second or two, and bring them in, guys who can space the floor and can defend. I would look into doing a deal like those. You also have Kendrick Nunn's $5 million contract that you can move, and you can move with Patrick Beverley, and now you're at you're looking for 18 to $20 million contracts out there on the market. And that's when you start trying to poach teams like the Sacramento Kings and seeing if Harrison Barnes is on the market. See, that is a player that you can use. That's an impact player right there. Harrison Barnes, 1-year deal. You can go and see, how can I get him? You can possibly, if we wait till December 15th, when more of our players and everybody else's players that signed over the offseason will be available for trade, you have at least $25 million I can think of to spend without moving Westbrook and bringing in 2 or 3 players at that time. And it makes more sense, especially when teams are looking to try to go into the All-Star break, and after the All-Star break, tanking for Victor Wembanyama. You're going to be able to say, all right, it's December 15th. We have at least 3-4 players we can move at and bring in $25 million. And that will help the team drastically improve by bringing in 2 or 3 guys that can, because there's guys that are not going to be a factor for this team going forward, and I can just see it. I'm trying to be patient with a few of them, but you can just look and see that they are not getting a lot of rotation minutes, and they're not performing that well when they get in the game. Kendrick Nunn, Damian Jones, Juan Toscano Anderson hasn't been getting a lot of minutes lately either. And now that Troy Brown is back, that's where his minutes is going. Troy Brown has been better than Juan Toscano Anderson. So you got those three guys, and you got Patrick Beverley with his $13 million. That's four players right there that you can go and move. And now if Matt Ryan is a guy that's going to come in and start hitting shot, Juan Toscano Anderson definitely is not going to have a role. And Kendrick Nunn, if Dennis Schroeder comes back and he looks decent, Dennis Schroeder Kendrick Nunn is also going to be expendable. And I'm of the mindset that the Lakers should go out and sign two other big men. And I'm going to tell who those two other big men are in a while, but if the Lakers go and sign another big man or two, Damian Jones is not that. So those three guys are going to be expendable because of that reason right there alone. And then you have Patrick Beverley with his contract. His contract brings in one or two guys also. So then he becomes expendable in a trade. So I'm not getting rid of guys that the Lakers would need. And I'm not saying that they have to get rid of them guys now, but you have to keep evaluating this roster. And if Russell Westbrook looked like a valuable piece for your team off the bench, providing some spark and bringing up the bench scoring for us, if he's looking like a potential sixth man of the year, you have to keep him. You have to keep him and let his contract just fall off the books next year. But you got to keep him because he brings value and a spark and an energy off the bench that we have not had. So you got to keep him for that reason there alone. And like I said, I think they're going to end up looking at Patrick Beverley, Kendrick Nunn, and they're going to say that's $18 million a contract. If we add in Damian Jones, there's 20. And then we add in Juan Toscano Anderson, that's like 21, 22 total million. You're looking at being able to take back 20 to 25 million in cap. So you can go look at the San Antonio Spurs and say, hey, I want McDermott and I want Josh Richardson possibly to come off the bench. I want those two guys. They can come off the bench. They can play with Russ. They can play with Reeves. They can play with a big. They can play. They can shoot. They can spread the floor. Josh Richardson can defend. McDermott's not a defender, but he can shoot the ball. You can look at a lot of different options. There's a lot of different options you can look at, and you can try to go and get these type of players. I think they need to focus in on how can they make moves without moving Westbrook just for right now, just to see how this new role he's playing in is going to work. But what they can do in the meantime is what I said just a second ago, is they can bring in two big men. You're going to need big men to help AD out. And Damian Jones, he's not that guy, because if he was that guy, then you would have played him and started him against Jokic. If he was that guy, then you would have played him more minutes and started him against the T-Wolves. If he was that guy, you would have him playing starter minutes or playing as a starter in certain games. And the Lakers don't. The Lakers don't. Even in there, and you can't keep AD at the power forward, at the center position with him running down the court with his back like that, banging all game long. He ain't banging. He's not a banger. You can't do that. You can't do that. You have to go and get a real big man. And you have guys like Hassan Whiteside in free agency, who I would take. And you have DeMarcus Cousins, another guy that I would sign. I would sign both of them because they both bring two different things to the game, but they both bring elements that the Lakers need right now. For Hassan Whiteside, you bring a big body that you could start alongside AD, and he can bang with guys like Embiid, Jokic, Nurkic for the Blazers, who dominated us, Zubac, who had a bunch of rebounds against us. He can play against Rudy Gobert and get rebounds and bang down low. Like, you would have needed that type of guy this year so far. The only player we haven't played in that list I named was Embiid, but there's four other big men, and you had AD having to play against all of them. You needed a real center like that can defend those guys, rebound, block some shots for about 10, 15 minutes, and then bringing in a Boogie off the bench. And Boogie is somebody that, well, what does Boogie provide? Boogie can space the floor. Boogie is somebody who can pass the ball, he can handle the ball. You can even give him the ball on the low block and he can make plays happen. The Lakers need a backup big, especially if Russell Westbrook is coming off the bench. They need a backup big who can space the floor. But he provides an offensive lift. The defense is already really good for us, but he provides an offensive lift that would be valuable to the team at this point. And you look at what he's done, like he's still a pretty good player. He had a game last year where he scored 31. You know what I'm saying? He had a game last year where he's hitting 2 or 3, 4 threes. He's having good games. He's still a quality player as a big man. Maybe not for 30 minutes a night, but if you're saying, hey, we need 12 to 15 minutes a night from you, 12 to 15 minutes a night from Hassan Whiteside, that's 30 minutes. AD don't have to play center. AD might have to play center for 5 minutes a night, 6 minutes a night, but that's going to save AD for the playoffs. Not playing him at center against every big man that he don't want to bang with or that he's getting injured trying to bang with. That's not going to work. You're going to have to give him some help down low. And with Anthony and with Boogie, you can also play Boogie with LeBron and AD. He can space the floor. He don't need the ball. If he got the ball, he can get them open shots. Like, you can rotate. You can make your rotations can be more expanded with those two bigs. Thomas Bryant is hurt right now, and I don't know how he's going to come back and look. He wasn't looking that great in the preseason, but it's just preseason, so it ain't a huge deal. But he wasn't looking that great. He wasn't looking like he was better than those two options for us. And provided matchups that we could exploit. Like, he's 6'10". He's not a huge, tall guy. He's not a real athletic guy anymore after the injuries. So he's a pretty good player, but I think you're gonna need those two guys who specialize in what they specialize in to help us. So I would look into making those moves to improve the team. Now, there's something else that I wanted to talk about. The NBA season is going, and everybody's played at least 7 games right now. And looking at the standings, and I see the Milwaukee Bucks, they're 6-0 in the East. Just start with the East. I believe they're for real. I believe Giannis, even without Middleton, is the best. Giannis is the best player in the NBA. I said that. I said I had them going to the finals this year. They're 6-0. They look like the best team, dominating. Cleveland 5-1. That Donovan Mitchell trade is working out really well. He's having a lot of good games, fitting in perfectly. They look like they're ready to contend. One of the young guys, Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, they got to make the next jump to follow, to be alongside Donovan Mitchell. But Donovan Mitchell is going to play like this in the playoffs. He ain't going to drop off and play that. He's going to play like this. If they can come along with him, they look like they're ready to make some noise in the East. I don't think beat Milwaukee, but they looking like they're ready to challenge. Boston 4-2, they look good. Toronto 4-3, they're looking good. Atlanta 4-3. Philly 4-4. I was on Doc Rivers' head at the beginning of the season when they was 1-4, 0-3, 1-4. Like, I was looking at it like, man, I don't know if Doc is gonna make it. I don't know if he's gonna make it, because their team don't look like it has anything to it that's fascinating. No ball movement, no anything, I give them credit. They've won their games. They're back to being 500, so I give them a lot of credit. The Knicks are 3-3. I think they're going to be hovering around 500 all year. Washington is 3-4. I think they're going to fall off the map. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's teams that I think are flukes. Now we're going to get into the flukes. Washington in the East as an A seed, that's a fluke, especially when you have Miami, Brooklyn, Chicago, they're outside the playoffs looking in. I'm not saying Brooklyn and Chicago are going to be great teams, but I don't think they're going to be outside the playoffs looking in. I think they're going to be either a seed, potentially a 9 seed, but I can see Miami, Chicago, and New York one of them is going to miss the playoffs, and I'm going to predict. Who do I want to predict on this? I think New York and Washington also misses the playoffs, but who would I like to predict misses the playoffs between Brooklyn, Miami, and Chicago? Because they're all on the outside looking in right now. I think Miami makes it as a 7 seed because they might make it more than a 7 seed, but I think they make it as a 7 seed. Um, and I'm gonna say Brooklyn make it. I'm gonna say Brooklyn makes it. Brooklyn probably get ousted in the first round again, but they make it. They make it. If Brooklyn, whoever gets to, if Cleveland stays at a 2nd seed, if Brooklyn can get to the 7th seed, that would be beneficial to them. If they can get in the play-in tournament and become a 7 seed, that would be beneficial to them. Let me look at the Western Conference and see how it's looking. All right, you have Portland at 5-1. Fluke. First fluke of the Western Conference. Portland being 5-1. That's a fluke. You have Phoenix at 5-1. I don't think that's a fluke. Utah 6-2 fluke. San Antonio at 5-2. That's a fluke. And I'm saying this confidently, and I'm okay with being wrong because I've been wrong early on to start this season, but I'm okay with being wrong. But I think Utah and I think San Antonio, I think them being the 3rd and 4th seeds are fluke. I think Portland being the 1st seed, fluke. I don't see those 3 teams as 3 teams that are going to be in that position long. I think the West is starting off, like the teams in the West that were supposed to be good this year, I think they're starting off pretty slow. Dallas, Golden State, Clippers, they're not starting off that well. Dallas is 3-3. They're a 10th seed. Golden State is 3-4. They're 11th seed, and Clippers is 3-4. They barely won against the Rockets. They should have lost that game. Eric Gordon had 3 possessions where he turned it over. He gave up he didn't give up a shot to Paul George, but Paul George should have shot over him. I don't know why Paul George was defending. I don't know why Eric Gordon was defending Paul George. I get he's your veteran, but let one of the young guys with some height and size take him. And then after that, he had a play where the Rockets got the ball for the last shot. He missed it. So that was their game. But yeah, the Clippers 3-4. And then you got my Lakers at 1-5. And I still believe that we are a playoff team this year. If Westbrook can master and be really good at that role as a 6-man, I think we got a chance to make the playoffs. But I do not think that those teams, Portland, Utah, San Antonio, they came into this season projected to tank. I don't see them being as good as they are playing. Congratulations to them on being better than what people thought, but I just don't see it. I just don't see it. Portland is the better of those 3 that I think are flukes in the West, Utah and San Antonio, because they have Dame. And I like their roster, but it's mainly because they have Dame. But I think as the season go along, Golden State, Dallas, and even the Clippers will start to get better and better. Teams like Minnesota, Denver, Memphis, I think they'll start getting better and better. I think teams will start showing who they are. As they say, the cream rises to the top. That's what I think will happen. The Pelicans, they're at 4-2. I think they're gonna probably stay around where they're at right now, which is a 5th seed, 4th or 5th seed. I can see them being a 4th seed. I think that's where they're gonna be. I think they have a lot of depth, and I think they've been missing people. Herb Jones, Brandon Ingram, Zion, they've all missed games. So I think that the West is gonna be flipped from what it is now. It's gonna be flipped, and if it doesn't, that's gonna be surprising. If Dallas, Golden State, and the Clippers and the Lakers all miss the playoffs, that's gonna be really surprising to me. Really surprising to me. That's what I think. Yeah. And my last segment for today will be picks of the week. Uh, Picks of the week, I usually try to choose 5 NBA games that I'm picking this week, and my 5 favorite, and I try to decide who's going to win them. So I missed Monday, but that's fine. Tuesday is what I'm interested in. Um, Games that are going to matter huge this week. And it's not the most exciting. It's not games that's going to be on TV, but they are very important games. Golden State and Miami. Both teams are outside the playoffs looking in, as it turns out right now, which doesn't matter because it's too early to even care about playoff standings, but they both need to start getting their games back, getting their games together. They are both teams that are struggling. I want to see what Golden State and Miami do. They play tonight, November 1st, and at 7:30 p.m. Who do I got for this game? I'm gonna take. I'm gonna take Miami. This is at Miami. I'm gonna take Miami to win this one. A close one, but I think Miami will pull this one out. Then you have Wednesday, November the 2nd, another game that I'm gonna be watching. My Los Angeles Lakers versus New Orleans Pelicans. I gotta bring them up. I want to see if this is a trend going forward. Westbrook has had 2 pretty good games off the bench as a 6-man. If he directs his attention to winning 6-man of the year, I don't care. If that what motivates him to play well, kudos, do it. I want to see if that trend works against New Orleans Wednesday. Anthony Davis back should be feeling a little bit better by then. I think that is going to be a really good game, and I am going to be really excited to see it. I don't know why they're not on TV, but scheduling, I guess. But it is at LA and it's 10:30 p.m. I will be watching that game. I will watch that game tomorrow. Another game this week that I'm interested in is Boston and Cleveland on the same day, tomorrow, 7:30. Then that's going to be on ESPN. You have Boston and Cleveland at 7:30 p.m. Boston at Cleveland. That is going to be a game where these two teams may meet in the playoffs to go see Milwaukee in the Eastern Conference Finals. I want to see how Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum do against Caris LeVert and Donovan Mitchell. I think that's going to be a huge matchup. I think Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley I think they're going to be really huge in this matchup too, especially with Robert Williams being out. So I want to see that. I didn't even give y'all my Lakers pick. I got the Lakers, of course. But in this game, I probably got Cleveland winning by 3. I got Cleveland winning by 3. Those are 3 games I picked. So let me go to Friday, because Thursday I don't care about neither one of them games on Thursday. On Friday, I would like to see Man, this is a tough one. But I want to see Milwaukee against Minnesota. That is gonna be Friday. I want to see Giannis and Brook Lopez. I want to see how their 2 big men test Rudy Gobert, and how they test Rudy Gobert and Karl-Anthony Towns, because that matchup there is the only one that really matters the most. Like, that's the one that matters the most, and the reason being is because, are you going to put Rudy Gobert on Brook Lopez? Then they're going to take Rudy Gobert away from the basket. Are you going to put him on Giannis? Then he's going to get drove by the whole game and kind of bullied. So where is Rudy Gobert? Who is he going to guard? And if you take him away from the basket to go guard Brook Lopez all night, then is Karl-Anthony Towns going to stop Giannis one-on-one? No. So I like Milwaukee because I don't think that their bigs match up that well against. I like Milwaukee because I don't think Minnesota bigs match up that well against Milwaukee bigs. I like Milwaukee in that game by 6. By 6, a cool, nice, easy win. And then we have the Lakers versus the Cavs on Sunday. That is a game that I am going to watch. I am going to be rooting for the Lakers to win. I'm going to predict their winning. And it's going to be hard for me to predict the Lakers losing. I'm going to tell y'all that right now. But Um, I think that we're going to be dealing with a team that is going to be very athletic, a young team that's athletic. They're going to run, but they can also score in their half court too. I don't know how great they are defensively. I would have to check that. But I think the Lakers are going to have to play physical with them and try to punish them a little bit. They're going to have to play physical with Donovan Mitchell. They're going to have to play physical with their bigs. Jared Allen is going to be he's going to really affect the game with his shot blocking. So I'm hoping Anthony Davis can play that game. I hope he can. If not, then I don't think I like our chances in that game. But I hope he can play. I want to see if Westbrook really is going to make this 6-man role work. I hope he does. I think he can. But I want to see it. And yeah, those are my picks for the week. That was my episode for the week. I'll talk to y'all again soon. Please like, comment, and subscribe.